who are sponsoring Chinese propaganda, not going to presidents who have to fly all around the country, the world, do nothing, not to sponsor presidents who are spending $1 billion, but to really address the issues of the working class, teachers who make very low salaries, doctors who have no jobs and reimbursement, so on and so forth. It is not my burden now, my friend. I come on the show and I'm willing to sacrifice my life. That's not the issue. The issue isn't even Alex Jones. The issue is the American public. At which point are they disgusted?
No, I agree with you.
They create a nonsensical tea party where Sarah Palin stands up, or some other bozo in a song and dance routine where they co-opt all kinds of issues that are not relevant to the American public, and we have two parties that intermingle. There's nothing there. So America has to decide, are we going into a peaceful second revolution where we're addressing less federal government, we're addressing local issues of transportation, jobs. We have no jobs. Where does the American public want to talk about the unemployment, which may be up to 18 million people, when the American press could care less about it? They want to sell papers. The TV want to sell papers. What we have to worry about is, where is the jobs, my friend? Where is our productivity? Stop whining about the bankers. The bankers have to go to jail. Not one banker went to jail. So instead of the American public continuously being in a rut of saying, you know, why this and why that, let's go back to the original American spirit where we went in with an entrepreneurial desire. We created new jobs. We created new industries. We went forth irrespective of what our government said.
No, I hear you.
You
Doc,
don't have to... I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. And the fact is, it overall does become a distraction from the bin Laden fable and from the 9/11 false flag.
That's what they want you to do. They want you to be distracted from the key issues. I mean, the issue of, you know, we have really important issues. Our economy, as you said, is going downhill. We're turning around just slightly now. China has been in an economic war with the United States. Does people understand what that means? That means that China has basically been in Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, undercutting everything we've done, every other country has done, and what are we going to do?
And we have traitors inside the government that have been bought off by these foreign lobbyists, the Chinese in particular, selling us out. And I want to speak to that later, but now I want to shift gears into some of the other topics you brought up.
Sure,
Dominique Strauss-Kahn, how does that integrate in with these private intelligence networks and Schwarzenegger? You talked about the fact that for decades, and now it's coming out that he has multiple love children. I know Hollywood folks that told me this years ago and said he's got one with his maid. Boom. Years later, they were right.
Schwarzenegger in and of himself is not as important as the psyops narrative of the politician who's married to the so-called victim, Maria Shriver. That collusive element, let's use the word again, collusion, that means people working together, is true for the Clintons, it was true for the Kennedys. It's a storyline that goes throughout our entire politics, whether Republican or Democrat, where the issue of family values comes in and a new narrative is created so the American public, whether Republican on the right or the left, buys into this garbage, this absolute nonsense. Schwarzenegger, you know, I don't know the gentleman. I worked in Hollywood. I had heard that he's abusive, whether he's physically abusive or emotionally abusive. That's for reporters to decide. Whether he was on the list of one of the biggest clients for Heidi Fleiss, who ran a prostitution house, and you see many of her prostitutes in a famous film that Columbia releases.
The point is they use this for blackmail. Everybody knew. Why are they bringing it now? Continue.
They brought it now because I think there was a tipping point. I have no idea. He could never get reelected. He's going back into the movie business. He's a very shrewd businessman. You have to admire his business. But this Maria Shriver notion that a wife of a politician did not know that her husband has been fornicating for the past 20 to 30 years is absolute nonsense. And she is coming out of the Kennedy family where you have a genetic history of this fornication. So this is not a victim. This is not a poor woman. You're talking about a sadomasochistic relationship that serves her narrative. She wanted to be on the TV show. She wants her own presence, as the way Hillary Clinton did in an abusive relationship with Mr. Clinton, who, by the way, why do you think Hillary never became president and running with Obama? The real issue wasn't Hillary was either better or worse than Obama. Nobody knew who Obama was. The key question at the time of her running was this question that was posed to me by a Democrat. And the question was, can Hillary win the election if everybody knows that Bill Clinton was still screwing around in California? And my answer was categorically no. So you have it on both sides. You have a woman who's compromised by a man, Schwarzenegger, and you have a woman who's talented in her own ways, Hillary Clinton, and compromised by Bill Clinton, whose narcissism and ego is very equivalent to Schwarzenegger. So what you have is a dynamic of narcissism, entitlement, and the ability to be abusive in both relationships.
Doc, stay there.
The American public, let me get this straight. The key is that we're paying for this unnecessarily. We're paying a lot of money to cover up for their staffs, for the nonsense, for the spinning, and the American public is sick and tired of this, and all we want to do is get our money back, get some candidate who has nothing to do with the issue of sex.
Stay there, Doc. We got a break. But there's also the psyop that the media would keep it secret all these years.
Alex Jones here with key information. The U.S. government is a Ponzi scheme that relies on the Treasury continuously selling large amounts of government bonds to foreign central banks. With Japan about to become a seller of U.S. bonds in order to rebuild its own nation, and the U.S. antagonizing China by calling them currency manipulators, the Federal Reserve, which is already buying about 70% of U.S. Treasuries, will soon be the only buyer left of U.S. Treasuries. Our friends at the National Inflation Association believe that the U.S. dollar will soon become worthless, and Americans will see the purchasing power of their incomes and savings destroyed. I strongly urge my fellow Americans to sign up for the free NIA newsletter at www.inflation.us. If you are sick and tired of the economic propaganda in the mainstream media, sign up for free at inflation.us to learn the economic truth that the mainstream media ignores.
If you suffer from poor sleep, you need MyPillow. Guaranteed to be the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Using a patented fill, MyPillow adjusts to your exact individual needs by gently supporting your head, shoulders, and neck. MyPillow has a natural built-in cooling effect, keeping your cervical nerves cool, giving you the best sleep of your life. MyPillow will never go flat and relieves snoring, migraines, sleep apnea, fibromyalgia, and many other disorders. It's antimicrobial, non-allergenic, dust mite resistant, and best of all, machine washable and dryable. MyPillow is made in the USA, has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and an industry-leading 10-year warranty. Order today at mypillow.com or call 952-442-6199. That's 952-442-6199. Mention coupon code GCN and receive 20% off your order. What do you have to lose except poor sleep? mypillow.com, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own, guaranteed.
Go solar for cheap. Want to use solar power but the price is too high? Now you can build your own solar panels for less than $200 at 123cheapsolar.com. Don't laugh. We've sold over 45,000 solar do-it-yourself kits. Watch the step-by-step videos that even non-handyman types can use. We offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to 123cheapsolar.com or call 800-713-0486. 800-713-0486. Reduce your foreign oil dependency when you go green with 123cheapsolar.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
The issue is, if I was contacted by multiple famous bodybuilders whenever I put out a film, part of a film exposing Schwarzenegger, talking about, hey, he's got a son with the maid, he's got another kid with, this lady, here's her name, she's a blonde, now you see it in the news, I was told it by Hollywood people. None of this is even a secret. The women visiting Schwarzenegger every day, But the system allows that, so then Schwarzenegger is compromised. And now we have Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who I'm not a fan of him, being a big globalist, really the elite leader of the Socialist Party in France. But come on, first it's rape, now it's attempted rape. The cops are basically saying he's guilty up front, which is always a bad sign. Now we learned that the chief spin doctor for Sarkozy, who Strauss-Kahn in the polls was set to beat for president next year, tweets out, kind of jumps the gun that, oh, he's been arrested for raping this woman. And then they had another campaign official do it. And then they said, well, we had an operative at the hotel. Oh, so now they admit they're following him. I don't know, the whole thing's very suspicious. But finishing up with the media, playing along with this, covering up for Schwarzenegger. And what's going on with Strauss-Kahn? What's your take on all this, Dr. Pieczenik?
Well, I'm not a great fan of Strauss-Kahn. Number one, I grew up in France, and I came to America because this is a country of opportunity. France is not a country of opportunity, and quite frankly, France is not relevant to American national security interests. It's just not relevant. I think whether it's a setup or not, I think it's pathetic. Strauss was always a pathetic figure. He's always been compromised before. But, in the world of intelligence, if you have an addiction, and particularly it's a honey trap that is women are easy to bait you in, then, he deserves what he gets. But it's not really relevant to what we are talking about here in the United States. The difference with France is they're used to this. They got upset by the way we handled him in the police station, that we should have hidden him, which is nonsense. France is really not relevant. It's a country that saw its past 300 years ago, and we should just leave it alone and visit it just because it's basically a museum. It has no real viability for the United States. Let's get back to the United States, which is really the most important country that we're talking about, and why this Schwarzenegger issue is important, not because of Schwarzenegger himself, although the story was there. We do have to give credit to some of the reporters, a woman reporter in the L.A. Times, who tried to bring up this issue that he was groped and repeatedly was harassing women. But unfortunately, the major media comes in, and people, like it's a circus, really want to hear the best that they want to hear about a man who talks about family values, has the money, and the ability to intimidate. That's the key issue. When it comes to power, and you have people like the Clintons or the Schwarzeneggers or the Kennedys or anybody else, it's about power and intimidation. So the women can't come out, the media gets intimidated, and in turn they try to basically build an alliance or a collusion with them. Very few reporters really try to break out, and when they do, they're co-opted. You can't say all the reporters were co-opted, but most of the people co-opted. And really, we go back to the American public. If you want bread and circus, you've got it. And basically, Schwarzenegger is a theater brilliant genius at being able to create a psyops. And he created the ultimate psyops, that he had a family, and he was a good family man, and so forth and so on. And so, once again, that psyops that's done domestically is costing us. Why is this important? It's not important.
It shows a culture of lies and people being fed lies.
That's correct. But at the same time, let's follow the money, Alex. This is costing the American public a lot of money, millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to support a staff, and particularly California, that is a $26 billion deficit. Jerry Brown has to go back in there, whether you like him or not.
Stay there. Back in 1 minute, Doc. Back in 1 minute. Going into Overdrive Live. Stay with us.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality. at prisonplanet.tv.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening